The story begins with a man who is a dangerous assassin. He hides in an old warehouse, sitting on a chair, fully prepared to kill his target. He sits there all day, watching his target's house from the window, waiting for the right moment. When he doesn't see his target for 5 days, he goes out on the pretext of buying groceries. After buying groceries, he calls his boss and tells him everything. The boss tells him to finish quickly and get his money. Hearing this, he promises to finish as soon as possible. Before returning home, he sits in front of his target's house, carefully observing the people and guards present there. After observing their daily routine, he returns to his hiding place and begins watching his target's house again. He sets his gun and waits for his target's arrival. At night, he brushes his teeth and goes to sleep. Every 10 minutes, the clock chimes, and he wakes up to check on his target's house. A short while later, he heard a noise and saw that his target had brought a dancing woman with him. He immediately picked up his gun and began tracking his target. The target, still unaware, began dancing in front of him. The assassin thought he would fire as soon as his target sat down on the sofa, but as he fired, the dancing woman suddenly appeared in front of him, and the bullet struck her, killing her instantly. He tried to fire again, but the guards had closed the window and he missed. Seeing his mission had failed, he quickly put the gun in a sack, cleaned the area, and fled. Then he left the scene on one of his electric scooters. To mislead the police, he threw some items along the way and then sped away. After a short distance, he abandoned the electric scooter and began walking. As he walked, he threw his helmet into the river and quickly went to the bathroom of a grocery store where he cleaned his face. He trimmed his beard, changed his clothes, and cleaned the entire bathroom to ensure there were no traces. Then he called a car and went straight to the airport. Arriving at the airport, he threw the gun in the trash can and stood in line to buy a plane ticket. As he stood in line, he noticed a police dog staring at him. He panicked and went back to the bathroom to clean himself up. He stood in line again and obtained a visa under a fake identity, Felix Unger. While boarding the plane, he received a call from his employer. His employer scolded him, saying, "What have you done?" He was furious with the murderer. He hung up, broke his phone, and boarded the plane. On the plane, he saw a strange man. As soon as he got off, he bought another ticket, but this time under a new name. He noticed that the man was also waiting there, so he postponed his travel until the next day. He booked a hotel room, set a trap on the door, and sat on high alert with a knife, vowing to kill anyone who came in. But nothing happened all night. No one came. The next day, he boarded a plane and returned to his home country, the Dominican Republic. Upon arriving home, he saw a man's shoe prints and a lit cigarette near the gate. His suspicions were confirmed that someone was inside. He immediately grabbed a gun and ran towards the house. Inside, he saw bloodstains and realized someone had entered. He called his girlfriend. When she answered the phone, he rushed to the hospital. There, his girlfriend found him unconscious in a coma with his brother at his side. He told me that 2 assassins, a man and a woman, had broken into his house. Their original target was you, but when they couldn't find you, they attacked your girlfriend. She barely fought off the assassins and saved her life, but she was still badly injured. When she escaped and hid, she saw the 2 assassins leave in a green-topped taxi. After realizing what had happened, the assassin decided to take care of his girlfriend for the night. After a while, the girl woke up from her unconsciousness and told him everything. She said, "The 2 assassins were holding me down and torturing me. They wanted to extract information about me. I endured the pain, but I didn't tell you anything." Seeing his love in this condition, that very night he returned home and took out his hidden weapon box. The next day he drove through the city to find the taxi that had taken the 2 assassins. His girlfriend's brother had told him that the taxi had a green roof, so he began searching the entire city for one. When he couldn't find one after a full day's search, he devised another trick. That very night, he went to the taxi company's office and held the manager captive. He then logged into their computer and began tracking down the taxi driver who had picked up the 2 murderers from their home. Once he had the driver's information, he took his file and left. The next day, he was waiting for the taxi driver outside the station. As soon as the driver arrived for his job, he followed him and boarded his car posing as a passenger. The poor driver had no idea what was about to happen to him. He was being taken around the city with a very dangerous man as his pillion rider. When the driver turned back to ask something, he saw the murderer's gun in his hand and panicked. He thought it was a petty thief, so he took out his wallet and gave it to him. But the murderer didn't want his money. He pointed the gun at him and asked where he had dropped the 2 passengers from their home. The driver, desperate to save his life, used his brain and memorized everything. He explained, "I picked them up from a private airport and dropped them off at a house. I waited outside and waited for them. When they returned, they both looked injured, but I didn't ask them anything. He dropped them off at the same private airport he'd picked them up from, and he got his full payment." Recalling his memory, the driver also explained that when they left the house, the man's leg was badly injured. "But I didn't ask anything," he said. "They looked like they were going to and from the airport. Sir, please don't kill me. I just dropped them off at the airport. It's not my fault." Then the killer demanded, "Take me to a secluded spot." The driver replied, "I'm ready to tell you whatever you want. Don't kill me." But suddenly, the killer shot him and drove off. The killer then created a new identity, using which he bought a plane ticket to New Orleans to find the 2 killers who had hurt his girlfriend. Upon arriving in New Orleans, he rented a bus, went to a secret storage unit, and retrieved some guns and a new identification card. He then changed the bus's license plate and went to work for a cleaning company, posing as a cleaner. After registering with the company, he was given some supplies. Taking the supplies, he went to his employer's office, thinking that cleaning would be the perfect excuse to get in. While standing outside, he learned that a pass was required to enter, so he waited for the perfect opportunity. When a truck arrived, an idea struck him. He took out his garbage can and, while walking towards the door, pretended it was too heavy and he was having difficulty lifting it. The delivery person wondered how this man would retrieve his pass, so, to help him, he put his pass on the gate and even helped operate the elevator. Once inside, the killer pretended to be a cleaner and the delivery person left shortly after. He then took out his gun and entered his boss's office. There, he found his boss's secretary. He had her tie him up at gunpoint. He threatened her to tell him about the 2 killers as soon as possible. Terrified, the boss said, "I have nothing to do with this. I'm telling the truth." He explained that the customer who had paid the ransom was angry because the job wasn't completed. He had called the thugs. "They must have sent them. They attacked your girlfriend. They wanted to kill you, but you weren't at home, so that poor woman got killed." The owner scolded the killer, asking why he'd returned to his city. He told him to quickly change his identity and disappear for years so that the customer couldn't find him. The killer ignored his advice and picked up a nail gun lying nearby. First, he used it on the laptop and threatened him with a glare, saying, "If you didn't tell me anything, you'd be next." But the owner was still in a state of shock. He thought the killer's threat was nonsense. He ignored it and said, "Get out of here quickly, understand? I've told you everything I could." Hearing this, the killer became enraged and suddenly stabbed the owner in the chest with nails. Then he pulled out his phone and said, "Tell me about those 2 people. Who came to my house? Only then will I call an ambulance, or else you'll die like this." But the matter never got to that point. The poor old man died quickly. He didn't have time to provide any information. Frustrated, the murderer decided he should kill the secretary as well. Why leave evidence unnecessarily? But the secretary quickly understood his intentions and offered him a deal. She said, "I know you won't let me live, but hide my body in a place where my family can easily find it, so they can at least claim the life insurance money. I'll leave, but they should get some money." In return, she would reveal the identities of both murderers. Her only condition was that the life insurance money should go to her children. If he killed her and staged the incident, they would get the money easily. The murderer agreed. He untied her ropes and left her for the time being. Then he wrapped the master's body and put it in his garbage can. After cleaning the office, he followed the secretary. As he was driving to her house, the secretary began begging for her life. She said, "I will do whatever you say. Please spare my life." But the killer ignored her. When he went to open the garage, the secretary tried to run, screaming for someone to hear her and save her, but no one heard. The killer easily opened her garage and took the car inside. Once inside, the secretary told him about the 2 killers and showed him a postcard detailing who had ordered her death. After obtaining the necessary information, he broke the woman's neck and pushed her down the stairs so that people would think her death was an accident and her children would receive the insurance money. After this, he went to the storage unit and burned his handler's body. Then he went to a bridge and blew the remaining ashes into the air. No one suspected him at all. That night, he thoroughly cleaned the bus. He He threw away the fake license plate and returned it to the bus rental company the next day. He then went straight to Florida to find the two killers who had tortured his girlfriend. Once there, he decided to find the male killer first and then the woman. He carefully observed the male killer's house, where some men were playing with a dog. He recognized one of the men because he was limping slightly. He waited outside the house all day for the right moment. In the evening, he saw them going to the casino, so he followed them and watched them. Then he returned to the killer's house at around 12 a.m. This time, the killer came home alone. As soon as he went inside, the revenge plan began. But the dog suddenly barked at him. He gave the dog something to eat, drugged to make it sleep. After the dog fell asleep, he entered the house and the killer suddenly attacked him. The killer had already anticipated his revenge. A fierce fight ensued with the two men attacking one another. Finally, when the killer began to overpower the man, he pulled out his gun. But our killer hid in a room. He shouted, "John, I know your real name. Come and kill me. Destroy all evidence." John had also seen his face, so he advanced towards the room. But the killer cleverly picked up his gun and fired a shot through the door, killing John. Hearing the gunshot, the dog woke up and ran to save his master, but the killer had already left the house, locking the dog in the garage. He lit a petrol bomb and threw it towards the house, setting the house on fire and causing a massive explosion. He then went after Teresa, the woman who had been involved in torturing his girlfriend. Soon he boarded a flight to New York under a false identity. Once there, he rented a car and drove to Teresa's house. He waited outside all day for the right moment. That night, he saw Teresa leave the house and go to an expensive restaurant. She was accompanied by a man. As soon as the man left, the killer entered. Teresa recognized him and understood he had come to kill her. She ordered an expensive drink and asked, "Did you kill your handler?" The killer simply nodded. The woman took the drink and said, "I did everything at the client's behest. I have no personal connection with you or your girlfriend." She said, "I was against torture. I was simply here to kill you. But when you couldn't be found, my partner tortured your girlfriend." Even after hearing all this, the killer said, "I won't let you go." Teresa then walked with him to a deserted park to decide which of them would survive. While descending the stairs, she fell and offered her hand for help. But the killer didn't take her hand. He shot her directly, and her body fell straight down the stairs. Teresa could have attacked him at any time. She had a knife hidden in her hand. The killer immediately left the park and boarded a flight to Chicago to kill the client who had ordered this. After doing some research on the man, he discovered that he was very wealthy, making him difficult to kill. Therefore, he waited outside the man's house to observe his movements. When the man left the garage with his car, the killer pretended to be a normal person walking down the street and, seeing the opportunity, tried to sneak into the garage. But then he noticed that the door to the house was locked. He took a photo of the lock and immediately began researching how to open it. He ordered a special cloning device to open the lock. Then he went to the bank and transferred all his money to an account in another country for a man named Jefferson. After that, he went to buy a gun from a local dealer. Once his cloning device arrived, he booked a session at a gym on the same floor where his client lived. He stole a worker's pass from a cleaner and made a copy. Later that day, using his fake key card, he entered the building and quickly reached his client's room. The client didn't recognize him and asked, "Who are you? How did you get in?" The assassin thought he was just trying to act ignorant, so he showed him the postcard the secretary had given him, which had the name of the contract killer written on it. Seeing the postcard, the client suddenly remembered that this was the same man who had failed to kill the first target. As soon as he remembered, he said, "I have nothing to do with this." He said, "When your mission failed, I accepted it. Humans make mistakes." But your handler said, "No, sir, it's the assassin's fault. He should be punished. He failed. Your handler asked me for another $1,500 so he could kill you and destroy all evidence. This means the handler was behind all this, as he was actually angry at how his man had failed. If he remained alive, the police might find him and the handler would also be caught. That's why the handler devised this entire plan to eliminate him." The client again insisted that he had no role in sending those two assassins. After listening to him for a while, the assassin believed him. But before leaving, he warned the client not to reveal his identity to anyone. The client hesitantly replied yes. Then the assassin returned to the Dominican Republic and began caring for his girlfriend, who had already recovered significantly. He left this evil path and now lives like a normal person. If you enjoy what we do here, please like the video and subscribe to this channel to keep us motivated. See you in the next video.